Okay, hello. Uh, it's Aspects here, and I wanted to do a short, quick video explaining and analyzing null theta techno from one simple perspective, and it's analyzing one simple idea that Node uses a lot, and it's one single concept. I'm not gonna get very deep inside of any other stuff that the map does. I'm just gonna focus on one visual concept, and it's gonna be my main stuff that I will be talking about. And I will be explaining how it works, and I want to give examples on how the same concept works in other maps. Okay. So here we have the map. But first of all, I want to talk about the concept that I will be using as a base to analyze the map, because that's a good tip you can do. Go into a map with an idea of what you want to learn from it, or what exact stuff you want to take from a map. That is how I usually do it, and that is how I usually learn, okay, from everywhere. You go with a basic idea that you are gonna focus on seeing, how the mapper uses it, how it works, and blah 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 blah. And the main idea that we're gonna take in count here, and the only thing that I'm gonna look in this map is gonna be the usage of his structure, and more specifically in the usage of the concept called 1 2 3. I'm gonna explain the concept quite easily here so you can understand it. Okay, so basically the concept of a 1 2 3 is very easy to explain and very easy to understand. It bases, you put object 1, you put object 2, right? And then object 3, the third object that you're gonna place in the playfield, must be related or connected to object number 1. It could be by a stack on the tail, it could be by an overlap, it could be by a blanket, by visual instance, by stacking on the head, on the tail. It could be by axis, it could be by multiple stuff. It could be by doing parallels, it could be by a lot of shit, right? So for example, this will be a 1 2 3, right? This the most basic and simple example of 1 2 3, because you have object 1, object 2, and object 3 stacked on the tail, right? It doesn't always need to be like 3 objects. It could be 4 objects. It could be like 2 kick sliders here, like 1 and 2, right? So it will be 1, this will count as 2, and this will be the 3, right? There's 1 2 3, right? It could be like, I don't know, it could be multiple stuff. It could be legit like a circle, it could be whatever, okay? But it needs to be clear that the mapper is going from one side, then going away to other zone, and then going back to the zone that he previously used, right? So that's the main idea, okay, that we're gonna take in count. And I'm gonna try to explain how he did it, right? I'm gonna use the first key as the reference for how he does it and how he connects the stuff, right? Only this part of this map will be enough to understand the concept and to see how it's being applied properly. So first I'm gonna play the map without explaining anything, and then after I play it, okay, I'm gonna let the viewer or whoever is watching this, I'm gonna post this on YouTube probably, I'm gonna let the person, the spectator, just look at it and think by itself, and then I'm gonna explain it and how it works, right? I'm gonna play it one more time. Okay, Based on what we already saw, we're gonna go pattern by pattern, explaining how this works. So first of all, we have it on legit. The first pattern that he drops is 1, 2, 3. As we can clearly see, object is he has like area 1 right here. He has like area number 2 right here. With these two objects, right, that are connected to the first one by curve relation. And then he goes and put the third object in the tail of the first one, finishing the idea of a 1, 2, 3, right? More simple, object 1, object 2, and object number 3 stacked on the first object. And he's also connecting them by using curve relations, like he's using this curve into this curve into this curve, right? That's also that we're gonna see a lot on node maps. The way he uses his curves. He usually does this type of connections where he does this kind of curves and they are related somehow. So he does like this kind of stuff right here, like down, up, and then maybe down again, right? Does a lot of this kind of stuff, and we're gonna see this type of stuff connected many times, because if you do this constantly, then this will be easy to do 1, 2, 3s, right, with this kind of structures. So again, in the first pattern, we see 1, 2, and 3, and then we go to the next pattern. We see the same stuff again. So he does first object, then he does 2 curves to the side, as I explained before, and then the third object, or the third, fourth, whatever you want to call it, space he uses is again the tail of the first one. Doing a 1, 2, 3, because it's 1, then these 2 are 2, and then this is a 3, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, and he will repeat this on and on for the rest of the map, where he's gonna do 1 slider, then maybe 2 small kick sliders, or 1 big kick or 1 big slider, and then the third one is gonna be always stacked in the tail of the first one, right? Look, he always uses curve relation to do his most basic connections by curves, and it's kind of useful because these curves usually are easy to know where they're pointing out, because we see this curve right here is pointing really here, right, and then this curve so pointing this direction, so it's an easy way to escape, just to put the third object in the tail, right? 1, 2, 3 is the main reason why this works, and that's it, right? Let's go. Well, the next pattern is pretty much the same again. He does 1, then 2 kick sliders, and then the third one is in the tail. And if you look at it deeply, we can actually see how he uses curve relation as well. It's repeating the same stuff over and over again. You can count this as a circular one, right, because it's doing circular movement around this point, and the focal point is the tail, so that's why he goes there, right? So it's 1, then 2, and then 3 in the tail, and it always works. He does it repeatedly and works every time, all time, and never fails. Okay, that's how he does it. He also mixes cool little axes and cool little connections, trees, and the curves that he uses. Immediately the pattern after, the history repeats again. It's 1, then 2, and then 3 stacked in tail, right? There's not much going on. Notice some cool little structures that he does, which is this curve going here, then this curve, and then we have little triangle right here, the triangle. Then we have this going in the same axis as the triangle, right? So this is kind of cool. And then of course this has a focal point in this tail again, and then with the third object he goes again to the. If you go to the next patterns, these jumps are still 1 to 3s, but I'm not gonna get deep into this because it's kind of obvious. Is 1, then 2, then 3 stacked in the same one, kind of obvious. Then on the kick sliders, I'm not gonna go very deep into it because it's the same history, like super simple, like 1, then 2, and then the third object in the tail. And then if we count from here, it's 1, 2, 3 in the tail, and then if we count from here, it's 1, 2, 3 in tail, then 1, 2, 3 in tail, and then if you count from here, it's 1, then 3 in the head, right? If we go to the next pattern, the same, it's repeated, and it's so we can see the same idea of curves being related like this, as I explained it before. And then we have object 1, then we have 2, and then we have the third object connected to the tail of the first one, right? Doing the 1 to 3 as this is most how he does it, and this is how it's gonna be in every pattern, right? We already saw it multiple times on many patterns, but now I think if I just play the map, it's gonna be very obvious how it works and how he does it. It's a super simple concept that could be used and spammed like this, and it will always work, right? It works on every pattern, on every structure, and it never fails. Again, we can see it here, like 1, 2, and then 3 in the tail. And then if we count from here, then 1, 2, 3 in tail, and then 1, 2, 3 in tail, and then that's how he does it, right? And it's gonna be always like that. Like he either connects his turns by simple axis. He connects by simple axis like this, right? Connecting to the final focal point, which is the tail, doing 1, 2, 3 into the tail right here, or he does curve relation that I explained before, where he does this curve, then this curve, and then this curve. It could be this, right, and then this, or it could be this and then this. Many variations, but it's still and then we have more of the same here, where he does 1, then 2, then 3. This time it's not stacked in the tail, it's overlapped in the tail. That's what I said before at the start, that it could be an overlap, it could be a stack, it could be connected by axis, it could be connected by visual distance, it could be by many ways, right? So here's a basic analysis of this, right? This concept. This is used in many maps in many ways and on many variations. Like we have one right here where it's legit 1, 3, and then it's legit 1, 3. He skips the 2, so it's tail to tail. He connects both tails together, and this is super interesting as well. This is another way of doing it. It's essentially the same idea of connecting stuff to tails, but here he skips the object number 2 or the space number 2, where he just does 1, and then the 2 should be over here, right? Maybe like we're gonna imagine there is a 2, like it's gonna be like one of these sliders, right? Could be, and then 3 into the tail, right? And in this case, the 2 doesn't exist. He just skips and does tail to tail, which is super interesting and another cool variation to it. It works. It's really nice connected. We have axis, and then we have curve connecting to this curve, right? And it's really well executed. And then we have the same, like we have 1, 2, 3 connected, always connected. he always connects his stuff by curves and 1 2 3s. That's all he does. It's super simple, super basic, and it's kind of obvious. Like that is 1, then it's 2, and then it's 3 in the tail, right? It always works like this. It never fails, and he always does it. And it's a pattern. Always work, right? So we already saw this, where we can see all the places where he uses it. Like it's kind of obvious all the time. It's 1 2 3, and then it's 1 2 3, and then it's 1 2 3. It's just like that all the time, and it never stops. Like this is still a 1 2 3 because this is connected by visual distance, as I explained at the because we have 1 2, and then the third one is connected to the first one by visual distance, like this. So it's still a 1 2 3, and it's still the same idea. It's just not stacked, but it's still a 1 2 3, right? Again, this always works, and he does it all the time, right? I know it's being repetitive and it's being boring, maybe, but it needs to be clear, and it needs to be stuck on your guys' head, right? Because when we get into more deep analysis of this concept being used in other maps, it's gonna be really complicated, right? So now we kind of want to go to a more complex style to show you how this could be used, right? We want to go to something more complex, if you want to call it, and more like visually dense. And we're gonna see that the same idea is still being used, but with many others in combination. So if we go to this Nihil map, I know many people will say, oh, haha, Nihil, right? But it's really nice to explain this concept, right? So first, right here on the first pattern, like we legit have it. Like it's it's kind of crazy how this is being spammed on the patterns here. So it's 1, then 2, and then 3 in the tail of the first one. And this idea is gonna be spammed all the way everywhere, and it's gonna always work. But what Nihil adds to this concept, it's that he uses proper visual distance. He does the curve relation that Null do. He also does cute little visual designs, right, that justify and make the map and the patterns better, right? He uses a lot of axes. This is where you can see how is this connected, blah, blah, blah. Just getting too deep, and it's kind of useless, right? But you need to keep in mind that visual spacing like this, and this overlap, you need to take in mind this stuff, and how he uses 1 2 3, right? So this is like a more complicated example of the same concept. 1, then 2, then 3, right? And it's doing with like curves, right? The same as Nold is doing, but it has more. But it's essentially the same stuff. Like if we go on, it's like a combination of like 3 in a row. Like we have 1 2 3, and then we have 1 2 3 right here on the head. It's kind of because it's being spammed so hard because it's 1 2 and then 3 here, right? And it always works and never fails. And also, again, as I said, the curve relation is very important. The Node curve relation, you can also count this as a curve if you kind of crazy. You can count this like it's not a curve, but if you're a schizophrenic, you can't count it. Whatever. The same idea is here, right? Of 1 2 3. And it's funny because it's repeated again because we have 1 2 3 connected to the tail by equal spacing again. So it's again being used this time with 1 then with 1 then 2 and then 3 right here connected to this little tail by visual distance right here. So that's why I said at the start of this video that you could connect by overlaps, stacks, visual distance, curve relations, axis, many stuff, right? Of it. if we go further inside of it, we can see that it's another one. Look, 1, 2, 3 connect to the first one, but by parallel, by axis and parallels. Okay, that word is kind of hard to say, but whatever. It's 1, it's 2, and it's 3 right here connected to the first one here by overlap and parallels and axis, and this connected to this one, right? And then where it's 1, it's 2, and it's 3. Whoa, who could have said it? It's right here again, it's spammed by overlap in the tail. It's being spammed all the time, and this, you could essentially call these curves because this plays a curve basically, and this could be like a massive curve, right? And it still has like the idea of the node movement and stuff, where it always spins, it always rotates in circles, and that is the right. And again, on the next pattern, we have 1, 2, 3 in the again. So it's the same idea. Like you connect by axis right here, and then you connect in the tail. Like it's repetitive, it works all the time, and it's the same thing, right? It's not much to it. And as I said on the first pattern, you can overanalyze this and do like, okay, he does a lot of parallels, as we can see, a lot of axis connections. He does a lot of pointers as well, because you have like this pointer here that is connected like to this, whatever. You have like pointing down, this two pointing down. I'm gonna put it with pink. Have like this two pointing down, right? And then you have object here, and then object here in the tail. And then we have like, obviously, this is kind of like a Lego. I'm gonna explain it like here. You do like this, then you do like this, and then you go like here, down, up, and then you go back to this tail, right? And then you build the stuff like this, and it will always work. It will never fail, and that's how basically this map is built, most of it. And it's just like Legos, like you just put piece by piece and keep doing 1, 2, 3s, right? And just maintain the same pieces and make it work, right? That's most of it, and it does legitimately work, because it's doing the 1, 2, 3 idea, it's doing the connections with the axis and all that stuff, and it's working really well with the pointers and all that. Impossible to play, but yeah, this is unplayable, but you can take this and like use this visual ideas and make something playable with it, like if you care about playability and stuff like that. But yeah, this is one example of it being used. We can go to another example. We can go to maybe different style. Maybe we can go to for example, I can show you like one different style, which is more tag lenient, and it will be this right here. Like, this is my map, haha, ego, he's showing his own map, whatever. It's just the example. But in this map, we also see it how curves are being heavily used to connect stuff, like this one into 1, then 2, then 3 on the tail. Again, overlap here in the tail, and we can see the little curve relations that I'm doing with the pointers and all that stuff. And how it's all of that being repeated. Like again, we have 1, we have 2, and then we have 3 in the tail, and it's again curve relation like Null did. It's blah blah blah, like Null did. This is like legit what Null was doing with the curve relation stuff, like doing this stuff. And you can take this really easily and use it to do your patterns, and it always works, honestly. Like, as you can see, like it works on this styles, it works on the Raikkonen styles, it works on the Null style, which is like really old. Like that map is 2014, 2013. Sorry, 2013. And it always works, and this concept is really useful to map and really useful to do anything, to be honest. So yeah, that's all of it. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. because I do usually explain this stuff in BC a lot on my mentorship, so I wanted to have like a video that I could post and have all of it already explained. So when I say 1, 2, 3, I will pre-assume that everyone will understand what I'm talking about or what I'm trying to refer. And yeah, so this is just like a guide video. I'm gonna post this on the class in Avalon. I hope people watch it. But yeah, I don't really care if any people that is not in Avalon watch this or use this video to explain stuff. So I will say it here. I don't really care if you send this or if you make fun of this video. I don't really care. I think it's very useful information to have it posted somewhere, so I don't repeat myself like 3 million times. Because I kind of repeat this idea on BC a lot. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna like mash the video, post it, and yeah, I'm gonna have it there so everyone can watch it. So if you have any question, you can like ask me on the class in Avalon, or I guess I'll post this on YouTube so you can comment and maybe I will respond and like do explanations about it and stuff.